Candy box. Oh, one more pen drive is there ना मैम का पीपीटी भैया मैम नेक्स्ट बोल देगा नेक्स्ट स्लाइड उसी टाइम पे आपको नेक्स्ट करना है आप करेगा या मेरे को करना है आप करेगा ना
You can check the YouTube live.
Once I'm checking the YouTube live.
But I'm checking.
Open mute. Yes. Raise is there.
चेक वाला
हमारे पास
back to this slide when online speaker
चेक चेक वाला चेक
ठीक है रिटर्न बंद कर नहीं बंद
चेक वाला चेक
आ रहा है
चेक
डोंगल से बंद करो डोंगल से आ रहा है गया हमारे पास आ रहा है नहीं आ रहा देखो मेरे पास चला गया और तुम्हारे पास देखो हाँ अब से मेरे पास चला गया रिटर्न गया
चेक 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 चेक
आ रहा है तुम करो थोड़ा और
check call,
ठीक है
check call, check
ठीक है
check call, check
और
check
है
check 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 check.
Ma'am, we will start the program within 5-10 minutes, ma'am.
Okay, I'm fine. Yeah.
Okay, sure.
Ultra beats on the track.
आ रहा है सिग्नल आ रहा है मेरे पास अरे मैं जो बोलूंगा
तू वहां से खोल मेरी है ना चलो चलो जी बोलो
रिटर्न आ रहा है।
सुनाएगा कि क्या आ रहा है।
अरे इकबाल जी आप समझ नहीं रहे हो, मैं आउटपुट जो दे रहा हूँ मेरे पास वही रिटर्न आ रहा है माइक का।
इसलिए चैनल का बंद है आपको।
मैं वो बोल रहा हूँ आपको। मैं माइक पे बोलूँ ना,
चेक करो।
ये माइक पे आ रहा है मेरा, रिटर्न आ रहा है मेरा। हाँ बंद करो उसको। क्या सुना?
जैसे वहाँ से टेस्ट कर रहा है ना, स्पीकर में दो। ये ऑन है।
ये तो बोलूँगा जब तो आएगा।
नहीं नहीं, वो वहाँ से बोल रहा है ना।
कौन बोल रहा है? नहीं वो चेक कर
मुंह
लेंगे।
से बोलेगा तो आएगा।
जूम वाला
वाला माइक वाला नहीं चाहिए। हाँ ठीक है, आप बोले हम समझ गए। बोलो जी, ये तो ऑन है यहाँ से।
अरे इकबाल जी मैं तो कुछ कर भी नहीं रहा हूँ, हाथ भी नहीं लगाया।
नहीं रखा है, बंद तो कर रखा नहीं है।
मैं तो कुछ कर भी नहीं रहा हूँ यहाँ पे।
वो बंद।
Excellencies, distinguished delegates, ladies and
माइक पे आ रहा हूँ, देखा ठीक है।
बोलो हेलो, अभी आएगा तो।
क्यों आएगा?
आएगा इसलिए कि वो
Check. Check one. Check one. Hello. Check one. Check one two. Hello.
ये देखो।
दो चार बार बोल के तुरंत रुक जाओ।
छोड़।
हेलो
हेलो।
कुछ नहीं है, आप सीधा माइक पे बात करो मैडम। ऐसे हो।
Hello. Ma'am, can you hear us?
हेलो। यस आई
Hi.
कैन हियर।
Thank you. Thank you.
मतलब कोई प्रॉब्लम नहीं है ना उनको।
ये देखो सिग्नल आ रहा है, जो माइक में बोल रहा हूँ मेरे पास वापस आ रहा है, वो बंद करो। आ रहा है।
song. They told after that the news comes now, they will keep it.
अभी पता चला उधर से आ रहा तो ये भी तो ऑडियो आना चाहिए, पता चला ये भी नहीं आ रहा है। अभी आप चेक करो इकबाल जी। नहीं अभी आपका सिग्नल आ रहा नहीं आ रहा आपका बंद हो गया, नहीं आ रहा ना, आपका बंद हो गया, ये तो बोला ये तो नोरा नहीं आ रहा है, तूने उधर से बंद कर दिया ना, तो कहाँ से आएगा सिग्नल? कर रहा है तो बोला नहीं कर रहा हूँ। आ गया, प्ले करो आ गया, तो खुद ही कर रहा है, उधर से बोला नहीं कर रहा हूँ, फिर बंद कर रहा है, आ रहा है रिटर्न आ रहा है। डोंगर से करो सेटिंग, जो भी करना है डोंगर से करो।
Ultra beats on the track.
ये स्पीकर की आवाज दब जाएगी, मैं खोलूंगा ना।
Present over here. A very warm good evening, ladies and gentlemen, esteemed dignitaries, distinguished guests, along with all our participants. It is my great honor and pleasure to welcome you all to the 48th Conference of Oceans Law and Policy, affectionately known as 48th COLP. I, Shranjali, on behalf of Gujarat Maritime University, the proud host of this prestigious event, extend a heartfelt greeting to everyone of you joining us here in the vibrant city of New Delhi. It is indeed a historic moment for India and all of us involved in maritime law and policy, marking a new chapter as we host the oldest continuous multilateral gathering dedicated to ocean laws and policy for a blue planet. Now, before we embark on this insightful voyage, it is my privilege to invite our distinguished dignitaries to the stage for a customary and sacred Indian tradition, the lighting of the lamp. The symbolic act dispels darkness and signifies the pursuit of knowledge and auspicious beginning. May I kindly request Dr. M. Ravichandran, Secretary, Ministry of Earth Sciences, Government of India, Professor Ronan Long, Director, World Maritime University, Sasakawa Global Ocean Institute, Commander Chris Hutton, Judge Advocate General Corps, Stockton Center for International Law, Dr. Tanuja Kaushik, Dean, Academic Affairs, Gujarat Maritime University, and Dr. Abhay Singh Thakur, Director, School of Maritime Law, Policy and Administration, Gujarat Maritime University, to please come forward and light the lamp.
कुरुत्वं कल्याणम् आरोग्यं धनसम्पदः शुभं कुरुत्वं कल्याणम् आरोग्यं धनसम्पदः शत्रुबुद्धिविनाशाय दीपज्योतिर्नमोऽस्तुते दीपज्योतिर्नमोऽस्तुते शुभं कुरुत्वं कल्याणम् आरोग्यं धनसम्पदः शुभं कुरुत्वं कल्याणम् आरोग्यं धनसम्पदः.
Thank you all for gracing the lamp lighting ceremony. May we be blessed with wisdom and good fortune as we proceed. Now, I would like to kindly invite Dr. Tanuja Kaushik to present a bouquet to Dr. M. Ravichandran as a token of our gratitude and respect. Thank you so much, ma'am. You know, maritime law and governance can sometimes feel like navigating a ship through a foggy sea, lots of hidden reefs and unexpected currents. But thankfully, here at 48th COLP, we have the brightest of the lighthouses to guide us safely. Of course, we all hope this conference doesn't just create waves, but real ripples of change, because that's the kind of tidal impact our oceans deserve. With the divine blessings of the Almighty, it gives me great pleasure to commence the proceedings of 48th COLP. To sail us through today's program, I now call upon the Master of Ceremony, Dr. Abhay Singh Thakur. Dr. Abhay Singh is the Assistant Professor at Gujarat Maritime University and serves as the Director of the School of Maritime Law Policy and Administration. He is a member of the Board of Management and heads the Center for Maritime Environmental Law. A decade of experience spanning academia and industry makes him the perfect guide for today's thoughtful deliberations. Please join me in giving a very warm welcome to Dr. Abhay Singh Thakur.
Thank you so much for the introduction. So welcome everyone. It's a great honor to deliver the welcome address on this platform. This event, this particular conference, the 48th edition, is actually a very historic one. Because for the very first time since the 47 years of this conference on ocean law and policy, for the very first time this event is happening in the Indian subcontinent. So this is not just for the... Yeah. So when I say the subcontinent, I don't just say India, the entire subcontinent, which includes the other nations also. So the very first time this event, this conference is happening in this part of the world, which is truly a pleasure for us to host this. That has been tremendous, actually. So I thank all the collaborators, particularly the World Maritime University and the US Naval War College, for making this possible, who are the main organizers of the event every year. They have been doing it since, I think, since it started. Special gratitude to the Ministry of Earth Science for supporting the venture and being with us in every way. And also the associate partners and sponsors for today's conference, for the 3-day conference. The Korea Maritime Institute, the Japan Institute for International Affairs, the Center for Climate Change, Law and Governance at the University of Copenhagen, the IMO International Maritime Law Institute, the Norwegian Center for the Law of the Sea, and the National University of Singapore Center for International Law, DEHUCUM, and the National Maritime Foundation. So thank you so much, everyone, for your support and for making this particular venture, the three-day conference, a reality. This year conference focuses on a very unique area. We have been studying and reading all about the third world approach on international law. But this year, in this conference, we give the developing world approach for the ocean governance perspective on the Indian Ocean Rim. So although we have been focusing on the TWIL, the third world approach to international law, we have not so much taken up on the approach on the ocean law coming from this particular part of the world. So it has been a pleasure to have this kind of unique idea and this unique venture in all the multiple parallel sessions that we will be having in the days to come. The main idea is the approach of this Indian Ocean region and how this particular region impacts the global economy. So throughout the multiple sessions, there will be deliberation on tackling the triple planetary crisis on biodiversity, climate change, pollution in the Indian Ocean region. We will be talking on the concerns of the small and developing states, making it very crucial, specifically in the line of the recent ICJ and the ITLOS judgments. Furthermore, this conference also explores towards the offshore oil and gas critical infrastructure and the emerging regulatory issues involving the BBNJ Convention. We had the very well-framed and very successful pre-conference event in the morning, the BBNJ clinic workshop, and the deliberation was actually really inspiring in that one. So I look forward to the similar talks during the entire ordeal of the panels. So this panel doesn't stick to that. It also looks into the seabed mining issues, the international security issues, the AI issues, fisheries, food, and the maritime boundaries and the international maritime dispute pertaining to maritime delimitation. And we'll have this maritime delimitation issue with one another. So this one actually focuses into a very, very crucial aspect of maritime law, of ocean governance. And ladies and gentlemen, the Indian Ocean is not only a vital maritime highway, but also shares a unique ecosystem of biodiversity and international peace and security. So the way we govern it today will shape billions of people tomorrow. And in the spirit of collaboration, innovation, and dialogue, I welcome all of you to this year's conference. And I look forward for hosting you today and for the 10th and 11th. And also, I hope many of you will be joining us for the field visit on the 12th. So thank you so much. I'll rest my speech here. Thank you so much for listening, for being patient. Thank you.
Singh to Dr. Abhay Singh Thakur for expertly guiding us through the proceedings with great professionalism and grace. Let us sail together a day filled with knowledge sharing, collaboration, and inspired action.
It is my privilege to introduce Ms. Hasanti Dissanayake, a highly accomplished career diplomat with nearly 3 decades of distinguished service in the Sri Lankan Foreign Services. Ambassador Dissanayake is widely recognized for her expertise in steering high-level meetings and negotiation focused on climate change, ocean governance, and disaster management, along with sustainable development. She has been instrumental in advancing nature-based solutions, climate financing, and consensus building among governments, NGOs, and private sector stakeholders. A skilled negotiator and strategist, she combines critical thinking, sharp analytical acumen, and a commitment to resource mobilization and inclusive diplomacy. It is an honor to welcome her as a keynote speaker for today's conference. With that, please join me in warmly welcoming ma'am to deliver her keynote address.
Hello, am I audible? Can you hear me? Okay. Excellencies, honorable guests on stage, distinguished delegates, ladies and gentlemen, good evening. First of all, let me thank the World Maritime University for inviting me for this event. My greetings to you all. It is a privilege to join you today to reflect on a subject that is as timeless as it is urgent: ocean governance and diplomacy in the Indian Ocean region. Next slide, please. Let me begin with a simple definition on what ocean governance is. It is comprehensive systems of regulations, policies, and cooperative actions by governments, organizations, and other stakeholders to manage and sustainably use the world's oceans and their resources. And it aims to protect the marine environment, conserve biodiversity, and ensure that ocean resources are used in a productive, safe, and secure manner for both people and the planet. Ocean governance has become paramount in this decade, as we are now looking more and more towards oceans for food security and our economic requirements, beyond traditional fisheries and maritime trade as well, uh, and we call it blue economy. Next slide, please. Ocean is a living entity. When we use ocean resources, there are certain aspects that we need to consider, such as sovereignty of ocean data, justice, rights, protection, and most importantly, coherence to maintain restorative human-ocean relationship. Next slide, please. Oceans provide many important goods and services to humanity, including climate regulation, absorption of carbon, transportation, economic products and services, including renewable energy, food and ingredients for medicine, among others. Excellencies, ladies and gentlemen, we move to the next slide. Given these nuances connected to the ocean governance, let me now focus on the Indian Ocean. Next slide, please. The Indian Ocean has always been more than a body of water. For centuries, it carried merchants, explorers, ideas, and cultural across continents. Historically, the Indian Ocean was Silk Road of the sea. Spices, textiles, and gold carried across civilizations, alongside the spread of Hinduism, Buddhism, Islam, and Christianity. Next slide, please. Colonial powers fought naval battles to control these routes, with the British Empire ultimately dominating its choke points. Here are some of old maps showcasing the historical context. Next slide, please. This slide has a map of old and new trade routes across land and sea, connecting Indian Ocean littoral states. Next slide, please. There are many shipwrecks along the trade routes of the Indian Ocean dating back to over 2 millennia. Sri Lanka, for instance, is known as the wreck diving capital of the Indian Ocean, boasting hundreds of wrecks. These includes the 2nd century BCE Godawai wreck, the HMS Hermes from World War II, and the ancient Portuguese ship Esmeralda. These sites hold significant archaeological value and serves as thriving habitats for marine life. The Godawai wreck is Asia Pacific's oldest shipwreck, at a depth of 32 meters off Godawaya in southeast of Sri Lanka. Archaeological evidence has so far confirmed that this trading vessel was full of cargo. This is one solid example of trade across the Indian Ocean. Next slide, please. Today, the Indian Ocean remains the lifeline of global trade, connecting east and west, north and south. Nearly 2/3 of oil shipments, approximately 80% of trade by volume, about 1/3 of world's bulk cargo. 95% of world's critical communications, including global data and voice traffic, are carried through undersea cables. And in terms of volume, this data, the Indian Ocean is a vital player. Next slide, please. The Indian Ocean, the world's 3rd largest span, 20% of the Earth's water surface, and connects 38 countries across Africa, Asia, and Australia. Home to 1/3 of the global population. It is a vital artery of world trade, particularly for oil and gas, with key choke points such as the Strait of Hormuz and Malacca. Rich in natural resources and strategically positioned, the region has become a focal point of economic and military competition among both regional and global powers. Next slide, please. The Indian Ocean region includes several critical maritime choke points essentially for global commerce and potential conflict flashpoints. Key choke points are Strait of Hormuz, Bab el Mandeb Strait, Strait of Malacca, and Cape of Good Hope, all vital for trade and energy security. The region hosts major shipping lanes and energy routes, making it geopolitically significant to global powers. Important ports include Chennai, Mumbai, and Kochi in India, Durban in South Africa, Mombasa in Kenya, Port Kalang and Tanjung Pelepas in Malaysia, Singapore, Dubai, and Salalah in Oman, and the port of Colombo in Sri Lanka. This underscores the Indian Ocean's crucial role as an artery for global trade, especially energy. Next slide, please. The very centrality of the Indian Ocean also exposes it to immense challenges with rising environmental and geopolitical concerns. Climate change is warming its waters faster than most other oceans, degrading and destruction of coral reefs, overfishing, disputes over island territories. It is also one of the most plastic polluted in the world. Illegal fishing, human trafficking, piracy, and growing strategic rivalries further complicate governance in this vast region. Quite literally, for Indian Ocean littoral states, the prosperity of nations depends on the security, stability, and sustainability of this ocean. Next slide, please. The Indian Ocean plays a crucial role in the Indo-Pacific strategies, highlighting the interconnectedness of global power and trade. Nations leverage this maritime space to protect power and advance national interests, requiring robust civilian and military maritime capabilities. Major global powers like United States, India, and China are significantly engaged in the region, resulting in complex geopolitical dynamics and heightened tensions. Next slide, please. Excellencies, ladies and gentlemen, the legal anchors for governance are clear. United Nations Convention on the Law of the Sea, the recent Agreement on Biodiversity Beyond National Jurisdiction, the Commonwealth Blue Charter, and regional mechanisms such as the Indian Ocean Rim Association and Bay of Bengal Initiative for Multisectoral Technical and Economic Cooperation. Yet, treaties alone are not enough. The real challenge is implementation with political will, consistency, and inclusivity. Next slide, please. This is where diplomacy becomes indispensable. Ocean diplomacy is about building trust, reconciling diverse interests, and turning shared vulnerabilities into collective strengths. Next slide, please. Sri Lanka positioned at the heart of the Indian Ocean, near key east-west shipping routes, holds both strategic opportunity and vulnerability. With its ports of Colombo and Hambantota and a vast exclusive economic zone, the island plays a pivotal role in global trade and regional security. Drawing on its deep maritime heritage, Sri Lanka is now leveraging its geostrategic value to drive economic growth, fostering regional cooperation, promote sustainable ocean governance, while carefully navigating relations with major powers. Next slide, please. Understanding its geostrategic location and the importance of peace in the Indian Ocean region for its development and of the region, in 1964, Sri Lanka proposed declaring the Indian Ocean Zone of Peace. It was followed by adopting the Resolution 2832 at the UN General Assembly in 1971. It called for demilitarization, geopolitical neutrality, protection of sovereignty, freedom of navigation, and dialogue among powers. That vision is even more relevant today. With naval exercises multiplying, defense pacts expanding, and tensions rising, the Indian Ocean is steadily becoming the new theater of strategic contestation. A renewed commitment to its demilitarization and cooperative governance is therefore vital. Next slide, please. During my tenure heading Ocean Affairs, Environment and Climate Change Directorate, I was a part of effective ocean diplomacy engaging in turning vision into action. If I may refer to my experiences, Sri Lanka demonstrated leadership by chairing first meeting of IORA Working Group on Maritime Safety and Security in 2019, represented by 20 out of its 23 members at that time, with diverse interests, guiding the representatives to reach consensus on a comprehensive work plan based on a 50-page document within a single day. We advanced ocean diplomacy further through initiatives such as championing the Commonwealth Blue Charter Action Group on Mangrove Ecosystems and Livelihoods, partnering with UN Organization on Drugs and Crimes to combat all forms of trafficking, IUU fishing, piracy, and maritime pollution, and coordinating international support after MV Express Pearl disaster in 2021. Sri Lanka also pioneered a national framework for submarine cable protection, working with the UNODC and International Cable Protection Committee. Later, the experience and learnings were used to develop a similar framework for Bangladesh. Internationally, smaller island developing states SIDS group is yet another example of how developing small island nations can come together for collective outcomes benefiting all. These experiences prove that even small nations can lead global ocean governance through vision, partnerships, and persistence. Next slide, please. Ladies and gentlemen, ocean governance must be people centered. Women, youth, and vulnerable communities must be included in policy frameworks. For millions in our region, the oceans is not an abstraction, but a daily source of livelihood. Governance that ignores them will not endure. The climate ocean nexus is equally critical. Rising seas and extreme weather threaten food security, migration patterns, and stability itself. Ocean diplomacy, therefore, must extend into climate negotiations, sustainable development, and disaster resilience. Next slide, please. Excellencies, ladies and gentlemen, the Indian Ocean must not be viewed only as a theater of competition, but reimagined as a platform for cooperation. To that end, I propose three priorities: strengthening regional frameworks, deepening collaborations through IORA, BIMSTEC, Indian Ocean Tuna Commission, then regional cooperation agreement on combating piracy and armed robbery against ships in Asia, and other on security, environment, and fisheries. Other regional cooperation arrangements such as SAARC and ASEAN are also important platforms for engagement. The next point I wish to highlight is mainstreaming science and technology, expanding access to satellite monitoring, marine scientific research, and digital tools for all states, not just a privileged few. Advance in inclusive diplomacy by bringing government, civil society, academia, private sector, and coastal communities into ocean governance dialogues. Next slide, please. Excellencies, ladies and gentlemen, the Indian Ocean is a shared heritage that sustains, connects, and challenges us, and its wise government is our duty towards future generations. True ocean governance must go beyond boundaries, uniting nations around sustainability, security, and solidarity. Ocean diplomacy ultimately is about negotiating not just between states, but between humanity and nature, finding a balance where development and conservation reinforce one another. With urgency and unity, we must ensure the Indian Ocean becomes a space of cooperation rather than conflict, a bridge of prosperity for generations to come. Let me conclude by recalling what Admiral Alfred Thayer Mahan once had stated: one who controls the Indian Ocean controls the world. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am, for your insightful and valuable address. Your expertise greatly enriches our understanding of ocean affairs. It is my utmost honor and privilege to welcome Dato Monaliza Binti Suami, the esteemed Director General of the Maritime Institute of Malaysia. With her vast experience and deep expertise in maritime affairs, she has played a pivotal role in advancing maritime research, policy development, and regional cooperation in the maritime sector. Her leadership at the Maritime Institute of Malaysia has been instrumental in promoting sustainable practices, maritime safety, and innovative solutions for the industry. As ma'am could not join among us, so we have a short keynote address by the ma'am.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Good evening, Dr. Abe Singh, Gujarat Maritime University, esteemed keynote speakers, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen. It is indeed a great honor for me to join you at the 48th Annual Conference on Oceans Law and Policy COLP, co-hosted this year by the World Maritime University, Gujarat Maritime University, and the United States Naval War College. On behalf of the Maritime Institute of Malaysia, MIMA, I would like to extend my sincere appreciation to the organizers for affording me the privilege to address this distinguished gathering. While I regret that I am unable to be with you in person, I am nevertheless very pleased to participate virtually and to share Malaysia's perspectives at this important platform. COLP has long been regarded as a premier platform for advancing dialogue on the law of the sea, and I am delighted to contribute to this year's important deliberations. Ladies and gentlemen, the theme for this year's COLP, Developing World Approaches to Ocean from the Indian Ocean Rim, represents an important juncture for developing countries like Malaysia, as well as most of the Indian Ocean Rim countries. It provides a timely platform for these states to articulate their perspectives, share their experiences, and advance inclusive approaches to ocean governance that reflect the realities of the Global South. On behalf of MIMA, I am deeply honored that this collaboration has been sustained, and it is our aspiration to continue advancing this high-impact academic platform. MIMA remains firmly committed to supporting COLP in underlining the enduring relevance of the 1982 United Nations Convention on the Law of the Sea UNCLOS framework, particularly in the face of today's ever-changing maritime landscape. In 2022, MIMA had the privilege of co-hosting the 45th COLP with the Stockton Center for International Law, United States Naval War College. The conference, which coincided with the 40th anniversary of UNCLOS, was held virtually from 16 to 18 March and attracted more than 1,100 participants worldwide. Key discussions that year revolved around emerging non-traditional security challenges in the Asia-Pacific, as well as the implications of the law of the sea amidst the world recovering from the COVID-19 pandemic. The outcomes of this landmark event have since been compiled into a publication entitled UNCLOS at 40, which continues to serve as a valuable reference on the resilience and relevance of the UNCLOS regime. Ladies and gentlemen, the importance of the Indian Ocean is immense and reverberates beyond its geographic limits. It is a vital conduit of international trade, housing several integral sea lines of communications such as the Straits of Hormuz and the Straits of Malacca. The Straits of Malacca alone account for nearly 1/4 of global seaborne trade volume. At its largest extent, the Indian Ocean Rim in total oversees the shipment of up to 80% of the world's oil products and 9.84 billion tons. In addition, it is also a vital conduit for critical infrastructures such as submarine cables connecting the countries within the region with each other and to the rest of the world. Malaysia has relations with states within the Indian Ocean Rim, especially through the Indian Ocean Rim Association, IORA, of which it has been an active member since 1997. Malaysia's membership in IORA is imperative given its status as a developing nation in line with its foreign policy of supporting South-South cooperation among the developing world. Malaysia is committed to many of IORA's initiatives on various issues relevant to ensuring peace and stability in the Indian Ocean, such as maritime security, the blue economy, academic and scientific collaboration between member states, and many more. To this end, MIMA has always been at the forefront of Malaysia's IORA engagement as a center of excellence for training and exchange of expertise between IORA member states. Needless to say, the Indian Ocean is vast and plentiful. However, it is also bound with emerging challenges prevalent for a body of water of its size and importance. Given its economic significance, the Indian Ocean is simultaneously a hotspot of maritime crime such as IUU fishing, piracy and armed robbery at sea, and illicit maritime trade. Aside from that, the region is also at the forefront of climate change, with sea level rise and fish stock depletion cited as among its major repercussions. Meanwhile, the increasingly tense global geopolitical landscape is adding another layer of complexity to the region, most evidently to the safety of navigation in conflict hotspots such as in the Gulf of Aden. In this regard, UNCLOS should remain as the foundation of the maritime rules-based order in which these states must address such multifaceted challenges. For the countries of the Indian Ocean Rim, many of which belong to the Global South, our active engagement not only on the front lines of these issues, but also because our perspectives can pave forward towards a more inclusive ocean governance in the future. Being home to one of the busiest sea lines of communication in the world, Malaysia not only benefits economically from the Straits of Malacca, but also bears the responsibility of ensuring that global trade passes through them safely and sustainably. To this end, Malaysia has fostered close collaboration with other regional states through various initiatives to safeguard the Straits of Malacca from threats such as maritime crime and marine pollution, while also upholding international law under UNCLOS as the basis for safe, secure, and sustainable navigation in these vital waters. Last but not least, as a state party to UNCLOS, Malaysia has always and continues to implement the various provisions under the Convention faithfully. In addition, Malaysia has constantly advocated for the importance of sustainable development of the ocean in line with the United Nations Sustainable Development Goal 14, Life at Sea, as well as a steadfast commitment towards strengthening international peace, security, and cooperation, which extends into the maritime domain. Ladies and gentlemen, to conclude, I wish to convey my best regards to our host in New Delhi, as well as to the distinguished guests, esteemed speakers, and fellow participants who are joining from all over the world. May this year's deliberations continue to strengthen our collective resolve to safeguard the oceans, not only for the prosperity of our nations, but also for generations to come. Thank you.
Our sincere gratitude to ma'am. We are truly inspired by her valuable contribution in the form of this recorded address.
It's now my privilege to introduce our distinguished keynote speaker, Dr. Ravichandran, Secretary to the Government of India in the Ministry of Earth Sciences. He is an eminent scientist with a distinguished career spanning more than 3 decades across leading institutions of Ministry of Earth Sciences. He has made a significant contribution in the field of atmospheric physics, ocean dynamics, ocean observing system, ocean modeling, and polar sciences. In October 2021, he assumed charge as the Secretary of Ministry of Earth Sciences, leading the national efforts in advancing Earth system sciences. His scientific impact is evident through over 1,060 research publications, 4 book chapters, more than 7,600 citations. Please join me in warmly welcoming Dr. Ravichandran to deliver the keynote address.
Thank you very much. Distinguished of the dais and online, whom are participating. Very good evening to all of you. And indeed, it is a great pleasure to be part of this particular conference, because though I am not very familiar to ocean law and policy, but I am basically working on ocean research and various developmental activities. So I will just quickly, what I want to convey in this 15 minutes is basically I want to throw some light on especially lawmakers and policy makers, basically what are the ocean's opportunities and challenges, especially in the Indian Ocean region, so that how we can govern the rules of procedure in this area. This is the main objective. I will throw some light on that. So maybe my slides are there, but having said that, maybe we can go ahead. Is it possible to show the slides? Okay. So I will just quickly show some opportunities and challenges. So when you talk about the future priorities, when you talk about the oceans, I essentially look at the 5 phenomena, especially energy, water, food, and all these 3 factors along with the health. Health, I mean human health as well as the health of the ecosystem. All these 4 elements, how it will evolve or how it is going to change under the warming scenario or climate change scenario, how it will be availability as well as various resources. Having said that, we have to have a mitigation of various hazards as well as we need to sustain the ocean, sustainability of the ocean in the future, what is called generations. Next slide. So when you talk about the ocean's opportunities, of course it is having oceans of opportunities. The first one foremost is, of course, it feeds us, and it is most important, it regulates weather and climate, and also it is having a producer of oxygen and largest carbon sinks, and providing various living and non-living resources, and it is a home ground for the tourism and recreation, and as the earlier speakers pointed out, it is a marine transport, and then it is security and coastal protections. Having all these opportunities, but of course we have explored we know only 5% of the ocean in the depth as well as in the various columns. We need to explore much more. Under this, of course, we have to look at the SDG 14, and also this decade is a UN decade of the ocean science for sustainable development. Basically, the objective is science we need for the ocean we want. Next slide. So what are the, since we have the opportunity, but there are, comes with some challenges. There are three kinds of challenges. One is non-climatic stress, essentially is a natural hazard, cyclones, tsunamis, and associated storm surges, and marine litter, and overexploitation, oil spills, and so on. And climatic stress is basically sea level rise, and ocean warming, marine heat wave, and the intensity of cyclone increasing day by day, year by year, and coral health, mangroves, and harmful algal bloom, and acidification, ocean acidification. And then there are other challenges are basically how to map the resources, whether we have a technology to harness various resources, how to mitigate various challenges like both climatic and non-climatic stress, and what are the governing rules, maybe what are the laws and policies we have to cater, what are the challenges, and also security, and also international and geopolitical strategy, and finally, what are the human capital available for all these things. Next slide. So when you come to Indian Ocean, actually Indian Ocean is very unique. Of course, many earlier speakers has pointed out, this is one of the physically, or maybe the physical geographical setting is unique because this is the only ocean where you have a reversal of currents, especially in the North Indian Ocean. The currents as well as the winds reverse 6 months on one side and another 6 months in another side. There is no other ocean is having like that. And second thing is, this is the only thing where we don't have a northern side opening. So because of that heat accumulated in the Indian Ocean, especially in the Central Indian Ocean, North Indian Ocean, it cannot transport it elsewhere. So it is warming more and more. So this is the uniqueness of this Indian Ocean. And also you can see that only this Indian Ocean we have in the low latitude opening, the Indonesian through flow, where excess heat comes from the Pacific. And also this is the only ocean where the currents goes towards poleward in the Australia coastal current and other things, whereas all other places it is going towards the equatorward. So these are the various uniqueness. Of course, it is having a large spectrum of changes in like from cyclones, maiden Julian oscillation we call, and monsoon, Indian Ocean dipole in the interannual time scale, and the long-term climate change, and also biogeochemistry and the ocean circulation. There are rich variability in different time scales, but of course we have poorly observed the Indian Ocean. We need to observe more and more. Of course now Indian Ocean is not more under-observed. We are putting more and more instrumentation to observe and understand the ocean. Next slide. So when you talk about the challenges in future, what will happen in the Indian Ocean if you talk, of course the Indian Ocean is going to be at least 0.17 to 0.38 degrees centigrade decade, it is going to be increasing, and the marine heat wave also is going to be increased. Now presently 20 days per year, now it will be going to be in the end of the century, it will be roughly about 220 days per decade, per year, and also chlorophyll, surface chlorophyll is declining, and reduction in primary productivity, increase in acidification, and also increase the presence of marine ecosystem and coral reef. So all these things, apart from that marine litter, it is also contributing to the Indian Ocean. I think we need to tackle these various challenges. For that, we need a governing and rules and procedure. Next slide. So I make it, of course, the Indian Ocean is in terms of, it is a diversity of large diversity in terms of livelihood, trade, and also it is a culture and biodiversity and climate. All these things are very unique. So I have 5, of course, when you are talking about this year's theme, this annual conference is a developing or a developing world, I have a point agenda. One is we need to prioritize the livelihood and food security. And second, regional cooperation rooted in South-South solidarity. And third one is integrating traditional knowledge and participatory governance, and the climate resilience and ecosystem-based approaches. And the last one is innovative finance and capacity building. So these are the focus area we need to build on in the various developing world to cope up with other areas. Next slide. So apart from resource, basically what we need to do, we have to have a harness the ocean resources. You have, as I mentioned, there are a lot of living resources in terms of how we have to augment. Maybe when we are talking about the blue economy, of course, in India perspective, we are talking about 4% of GDP. Now, how we can double this 4% to double digit or 8%? For that, what are the avenues? What are the things to do? There are something living resources in terms of various activities and also mariculture, southern ocean fisheries, and how do we do for seaweed and seagrass, and also there are various other fish stock replenishment and migration methods. In terms of non-living resources, we need to have a renewable energy. You may not be surprised that in Indian Ocean, especially in the India, in the EEZ, we have roughly about 9 terawatt powers are available, ocean energy. Even 1% if you are able to harness, that is more than sufficient. But we are not able to harness various reasons because of the economical constraint or technological constraints. We need to do that in the coming years. Basically, we want to develop a technology. And fresh water from the ocean, also the minerals from the ocean, all these things we need to think about how we can harness in the various ocean resources in sustainable way. Next slide. And also we have a shipping, of course, ocean infrastructure we have to increase in terms of shipping, and also we need to go for a coastal ecotourism because we don't have any of the major ecotourism all along the Indian Ocean, not only from India but also in other regions, not much. Basically the countries are situated, not developed countries, maybe all along the countries are various constraints. So it is imperative that we need to develop a coastal ecotourism. Next slide. And also we need to improve the marine trade and services. Essentially, we need to have a ease of doing business in the coastal sector. We need to have a marine spatial planning. And for that, what are the things we need to do, investment and various activities. And also we need to have a marine security and multi-sectoral institutional mechanism we need to put in place. And also we need to have a indigenous key technologies, various technologies we need to augment. And of course, we need to national interest in various bodies of UNCLOS, CLCS, International Seabed Authority, and various other, maybe BBNJ in the coming years. And also we need to have an innovation, R&D and human capital in line with various technological elements. Next slide. So also we need to mitigate various hazards, especially some of the hazards are rapid onset hazard like storms, flooding, storm cells, tsunamis. And there are something slow onset hazard, it is like erosion as well as sea level rise and saltwater intrusion and also land subsidence. All these things we need to, how to mitigate in various time scales, we need to think about it. Next slide. And the way forward I want to put forth is basically we need to observe the ocean both in situ and satellites in the entire Indian Ocean. And also we need to plan entire coastline marine spatial planning. What we need to build in the coastal infrastructure, what we should not build it. We need to have a plan, like a town planning, we should have a coastal marine spatial planning. And also we need to explore various resources, what are the resources are available, how do we harness sustainably, we need to think about it. For that we need to develop various technology and data science and mitigation measures for various hazards. And also we need to develop and for all of these develop laws and policies facilitate to harness and for various aspects of it. So ultimately we need to have a clean, productive and predictive, safe and accessible and inspiring way. For this, ocean is basically we all know that ocean is our future, water energy, health, and climate. For that, only one thing we need speakers at the point of and here this conference will bring out various resources, outcome, at the same time what are the rules of procedure, laws, And I feel that this summer, you know, actionable recommendations for the all what's the strategy and process?
Thank you, sir, for that truly illuminating address. You have charted a course for future to tackle the sea of challenges in the Indian Ocean and demonstrated with clarity how robust insight must form the bedrock of any effective ocean policy. May I now request Professor Ron Tom to kindly felicitate Dr. M. Ravichandran.
First and foremost, warning that this conference, we practice full, and there are sense that is open universe and sub-concepts is being very much associated with the development of ocean trade, of course, it is quite fitting what you did very here, celebrate 40th anniversary behind us. At Maritime University, we really this first and foremost because India has the second number highest alumni figures of any country in the world. So we would like to thank you very much to the wonderful scholars who sent Sweden to our university, which are maritime leaders quite across the world today. Secondly, the founding president of the university was the son of the design and president speak on Thursday. Dr. Ravichandran, Secretary Minister of Science, I think you said the keynote in terms of the scientific context for the program, but I would also reference one keynote address we have in the region and suffering. What struck me is that there is no problems that have to be the challenges that have to be addressed. This is a particular unique forum to do that, and has done so on part 7 previous occasions. I think this conference this year is unique because it brings together 11 partners. Of course, we have the GNU, Gujarat Maritime University, as our local host, and we'd like to acknowledge the work of John, and in particular, I like to say our Dr. Singh, for the outstanding work that he has done. I'm going to use all those points that we Tuesday that we had the last 6 months
first Dr. Shanti Kumar. It's really one year. It's the final theme here with us for the conference series. It's also a very unique occasion because the host institute of the conference started with the University of Virginia. The University of Virginia was the first Center of Excellence College of Law, Singh, but in recent years has passed over to the Stockholm Center for International Law at the United States Royal College, who represents primary Scotland. So, Mr. Thank you very much for the support of the but of course, on the platform we have Professor Kaushik and Dean, GMU, and my recommendation is both Dr. Singh. He is a really wonderful colleague. That's most of all, we had a really great warm-up session. We had an extraordinary exchange of views. In an academic setting, I would say, everybody comments on some issues, very different views on big issues. It's quite the suffering, it's very great cooperation between us. I think that's the issue. It's also striking the quality of the book, and it's very fitting that keynote speakers the forum is seeing our flag bearers. It promised to that it's a very important context to this program. We also have a person in 12 panels in addition to the local extraordinary regional leaders and manufacturers, very distinctive conference theories of law policy. And I think that was finish with one point. Traditionally, conference has been about finding solutions. Okay. We published academic proceedings. And conference is long overdue from the region. And I think we'll be followed across the world. And we show a collective willingness. I think I saw on the site 38 states were concerned for the notion. I think they can lead the way globally on bilateral, regional, and indeed sub-regional solutions to some of these big topics that we're going to look to. Lastly, but not least, I certainly have to thank the organisation team, the real team, the team here in GMU, your colleagues, your students, Dr. Singh, as well as the team in the United States Stockton Centre of International Law, and of course our own organisation team at the World Maritime University. We're a small team, but I'm immensely proud, and we have some really wonderful colleagues who you will meet over the next number of days. We have some very distinguished speakers, and I'm looking forward to 2 great days of deliberations. And ladies and gentlemen, and thank you very much for the very, very warm welcome here in the capital of India. So delighted to be here with you. Thank you again.
Thank you, sir. As we bring our inaugural day to a close, I wish to extend my deepest gratitude to each of you for your presence and engagement throughout today's proceedings. Today, we laid the foundation for what promises to be an insightful and impactful conference. We heard from the distinguished speakers who inspired us with their knowledge and vision. This conference is more than a gathering. It is a community coming together, united by a commitment to learning, collaboration, and progress. We are only at the beginning. Tomorrow and the following days will see us delve deeper into critical topics. The journey we have begun today is an important one, and your continued engagement will be vital in making this conference truly meaningful. Let's carry this spirit forward. Thank you once again for being a part of this inspiring opening day. We look forward to seeing you all tomorrow, ready to engage and create a lasting impact together. Thank you.